Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking about what programs you should use to actually code in. I know I haven't mentioned that before, but I figured I've gotten a couple of questions John, I see you're programming. What are you actually using to code in? And let's talk about that. But first thing, new haircut, no big deal. Look at this fade, huh? Doesn't matter. Check it out. Okay. So what programs am I using? A very popular term when you're a coder is an IDE. What an IDE is, it's an integrated development environment. And basically it's like a fancy Microsoft Word. It's a program that you can use to code, and it has a lot of bells and whistles. And basically it debugs your code for you. It helps you error check. There's a terminal where you can see a lot of output. There's auto completion, and there's a lot of really, really cool stuff in an IDE. But honestly, if you're just starting to learn how to code, you should stay as far as you can away from these kind of things, right? Because it's kind of like, a cockpit of an airplane. You get in there, there's all these buttons, and you're like, holy crap, how do I fly this thing? I have no idea what I'm doing. That's basically what you're gonna feel like if you start using an IDE when you're just learning how to code. So what are some examples of an IDE? There's Visual Studio for .NET stuff. There's Eclipse you can use for Java. There's Xcode is a really popular one for using Swift and making iOS apps. And there's a company called JetBrains that makes a ton of them for different languages. And why I'm telling you guys to stay away is because not only are you gonna be learning how to code, but you're also gonna have to learn how to use these IDEs. It's a lot of garbage that you don't have to worry about for now. Unless you're a professional software engineer and it's your job and you have years of experience and you need these things, you just stay away from it. You don't worry about that for now. You're overcomplicating the whole process, and really it's not necessary. So I really recommend you guys, if you're just starting to learn how to code, don't download Xcode. I know it's very tempting, you know about it. It's probably one of the more popular ones, but not only are you not gonna have any idea what you're doing, but it's gonna take 3 hours to download because it's 20 gigabytes. Then it's gonna explode your Mac because it takes so much power, and you probably don't have the best Mac. And then your Mac is gonna be super slow, and it's just a ton of garbage that you don't need for now. So what should you use? I recommend you use a text editor. So some examples of a text editor, there's things like Atom, there's one called Sublime, and I think there's another one called VS Code, Visual Studio Code. And so these three, honestly, guys, don't look up anything else. Get any of these three. Genuinely does not matter if you're just learning how to code. Those three will get the job done. It'll do everything you need for you. They're very small, they're very quick. You can see your whole project. They also has stuff like error checking and auto completion and all this really, really useful stuff. But it's way more beginner friendly. It's way smaller of a size. You click it, it'll open up instantly, and you really, really you'll find it to be a much easier learning curve. You're not gonna open it up and suddenly have all these buttons and bells and whistles that you're not gonna have any idea what they're doing. It's gonna be very simple to use, and that's what you should use if you're a beginner. So another reason why you wouldn't want to use an IDE is because you're going to miss a lot of important lessons that you would learn if you were kind of writing code in a text editor or even by hand, for example. So let's say you're trying to learn how to cook, right? You're trying to learn how to cook a steak, and it comes to you prepackaged with all the spices. Everything's ready to go. You just have to put it on the barbecue. It cooks and you eat it, right? Then you go to your friend's house. You're like, okay, I'm going to make this steak. You take it out, you have all the spices, and you're like, oh, I have no idea how to do this because my whole life I've been cooking with this prepackaged stuff. You know what I mean? If you kind of understand that analogy, I don't know if it makes sense, but you really learn a lot of lessons with the syntax that an IDE will just fix for you. It'll just autocorrect for you, or it'll just, indent things and fix all these small problems that you really should build a habit of learning yourself, and which you would do if you use a text editor. Visual Studio Code is probably what I would tell you to download right now. I use it every day. Just Google it. I'll put a link in the description below. And really, one thing I really want to leave you guys with is that you could genuinely start coding in Word, Microsoft Word. It doesn't matter as long as you're writing code. When you're learning, don't get distracted by all these things. It's when you start a business and then you buy a business card as the first thing you do. Doesn't matter. You don't need that crap yet. All you need to do is actually learn the foundation and start actually writing code. And the easiest way to do that is to just download one of these text editors and go from there. You don't have to preoccupy yourself with a tutorial of how to use Xcode, all this garbage. It will really just slow down and not be beneficial in the long run, and it'll probably do more bad than good. to be completely honest. So with my incredible haircut, I'm going to leave you with that. And guys, have fun, enjoy your coding. And I'm going to make a video. My next video is going to be how to actually set up a project. I know it's probably confusing, like just watching me run the code without actually explaining how I got there. So that'll be the video coming up in a couple days. I'm posting every other day. So I hope you've enjoyed. Guys, don't forget to like and subscribe and have fun coding. See you next time.